fielding clubs, and they're a veteran club, so everything is lining up for them.
Mariners have 7 games here, taking us into the All-Star break. You know, we talked about the big 13 games. Well, 4-2 in the first stretch. Now 7 games coming up. King and Kuma twice.
Yeah, which is good news for the Mariners. And you're talking about a 4-2 road trip. Well, now this sets up here on the homestand. You have Felix going tonight, Iwakuma tomorrow. They'll pitch on Saturday and Sunday also, so that's good for these last 7 games going into the break. So I think you have to feel pretty good about their situation.
As we look at tonight's matchup, Felix Hernandez, what does he have to do against the #1 scoring team in the American League?
Well, he has to command his fastball. Obviously, this is a tough team. They're going to make him work. It's a veteran club. It'll be interesting to watch early. Are they going to be aggressive like most teams, or are they going to try to wait him out? Certainly they're familiar with him, but I think if Felix commands his fastball, especially in this ballpark, he'll get to that great changeup, and he should be okay.
He'll be opposed by John Lester out of Benelman Prep in Tacoma. Comes in with an 8-4 record. Hutch Award winner, cancer survivor. It's a great story. We're familiar with that. In terms of beating him, the Mariners swung the bat, have been swinging the bat quite well.
They have, but I think Lester also, in his last 5 outings against the Mariners, he has pitched extremely well. A good fastball. He can change speeds on you. I think at times he can get a little bit wild. So for the Mariners, I'd like to see them a little bit patient, maybe the first, second inning, just to see where Lester's at. If he's commanding his fastball, you better get after it.
Red Sox got in about 2 a.m. this morning from L.A. last night. In Anaheim, they lost 3-0 to Jared Weaver and the Angels. We'll see how things match up in this first look at the Boston Red Sox. Kings Court in session out in left field near the foul pole. And we have a gorgeous night. Good to be back home in Seattle. Red Sox, Mariners, first pitch straight ahead.
Seattle Mariners Baseball on Road Sports is brought to you by Ford. We are local. By Safeco Insurance. Do more. And by the Emerald Queen Casino, where there's a world of dining opportunities from gourmet Asian cuisine to the legendary seafood buffet. And you are looking at one of the reasons why we love the Northwest so much. This, a waterfall at Mount Rainier National Park. Absolutely spectacular. Hi, everyone. Angie Mentink here at the Ford Sports Desk. Throughout the game, we will be giving you updates on what's going on down in the farm. But right now, we go down on the field for the latest to make his way up to the big leagues. Jen?
Yeah, Angie, a roster move today. Jeremy Bonderman getting designated for assignment so that the Mariners can recall Lucas Litke. He rejoins the team in time for this series. And Bonderman made 7 starts for the Mariners this year, earned his first major league win back in June since 2010. Eric Wedge said it really wasn't about Bonderman's performances, even though he gave up 6 earned runs against Cincinnati. It's more about the pitcher they plan to bring up for Thursday's start, even though he's not quite ready to say who that is.
We'll bring somebody up, but it's for Thursday. It's more about him than anything. But in the meantime, we've got a couple of days here where we can have some bullpen help. So we called up Lucas, and he's done a nice job down here. He's done a nice job here. It's been more of a numbers game for him. So nice to see him back.
Now, we do know that it will be a call-up from Tacoma, and it does stand to reason that with a lot of talk about Erasmo Ramirez, and he is scheduled to pitch Wednesday, it does fall in line with the schedule that he is currently on. But that's enough for future pitching matchups. How about the great matchup tonight? Felix Hernandez has taken his spot. It is Felix and John Lester coming up next on Root Sports.
Kings Court in session this Monday night here in early July. Why? Because Felix Hernandez is on the mound, and he's taking on a formidable opponent tonight. It's the #1 team in the American League. 3rd best record in Major League Baseball. The Boston Red Sox in town take on the Mariners. Welcome everybody to Mariner Baseball. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, and the Root Sports crew. What a treat to see Felix against these Red Sox here tonight. Daniel Nava will lead it off for Boston. Boston in stage 2 of a 10-game road trip. They started in Anaheim, got in this morning at 2 o'clock here in Seattle. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels. First pitch from Felix. In there for a called strike 1. Umpires tonight, Ed Hickox. He's got balls and strikes tonight. Jim Joyce is at first, Corey Blazer at second, and Jeff Nelson at third. 76 degrees. Outstanding wind out of the southwest at 3. Nava a few years ago made his way to this ball club after being in an independent league. He had been a manager of his college team. First at bat in the major leagues, hit a first pitch, grand slam, home run, grand slam. That's a heck of a way to start a career. Had a couple setbacks, and now here he is tonight and having a sensational season. Deep drive, long run, Raul to the track, 1 out.
Well, you can see from that the ball will carry tonight. It's a warm evening here in Seattle. Take a look at the rest of the lineup for the Red Sox. Johnny Gomes, a veteran. He will hit second. Then it's Dustin Pedroia. Has reached base safely in 80 of 89 games. He hits third. For them, Ortiz, the DH, a cleanup hitter tonight, hitting .313 overall. Then it's Napoli. And former Mariner Mike Carp hitting 6th. Saltalamacchia, Iglesias, the shortstop, a fine defensive shortstop, off to a good start for the Red Sox. And Brock Holt will bat 9th. Felix on the year, 2.69 ERA, 130 strikeouts. Not even at the break yet.
Give you an idea how good Felix is. 2nd in ERA to Iwakuma, 6th in night ERA, 3rd in innings pitched, and 4th in strikeouts. And he is looking for a W. His last 3 outings have ended in no decisions. Left with the lead, 8-7 against the Angels. Next 2 games left tied, 2-2 against Pittsburgh and Texas.
Well, the good news is he's rebounded from that game against the Angels. Gave up 6 runs in that, and looked like Felix was upset about the whole situation, but he's bounced back nicely in his next 2 starts, just giving up 2 earned runs.
2-1 to Johnny Gomes. We talked about the open Felix and Iwakuma. See him later on in the week against the Angels. Johnny Gomes, most recently with the Athletics. He's done a heck of a job pinch hitting and spot playing. Gomes as a pinch hitter is 3 for 14. Make that 5 for 14 with 3 homers and 4 ribbies. Foul ball. John Farrell, the manager of the Red Sox in his first year after being up in Toronto the last couple of years. Talking to some of the guys over in the clubhouse, Mike Carp, Pedroia, Ortiz, Gomes. Everybody knows their role. Everybody likes their role. And it has really worked out for Farrell. Coming over, he used to be the pitching coach a few years ago under Terry Francona. Payoff here to Gomes through the hole, base hit. You know this, Mike. These guys, they can prolong games because they're going to wait until they get the pitch they hit, and it's a group effort.
Well, and that's the reason why I said at the top of this with Felix on the mound, typically clubs are going to be aggressive with him, but when you look at these numbers and the amount of pitches that they're averaging per at bat, maybe it's a different story. This is a veteran club. They've been around. I think that they would like to get Felix's pitch count up if they can to get him out of the ball game as quickly as possible.
Here's all-star Dustin Pedroia. What a year he's had. Pitch in there for strike, 2nd in batting average, tied for 5th in doubles, tied for 3rd in hits, 2nd in on base, and tied for 2nd in multi-hit games. Final from the East Coast. Texas wins at Baltimore 8-5. Kinsler 2 for 4 with 4 runs knocked in. There's Miller to Franklin. What a double play combination. Nice scoop by Smoke. Felix has a nice first inning. Kings Court loves it against the powerful Boston Red Sox, who have their share of injuries. More on that later, but the Mariners coming to bat. Brad Miller will get us going. want to ink their names in for a long time here in Seattle as a double play combination. These two young men off to a fine start. It has worked quite well here in the early going for these two gentlemen. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Mariners. Mr. Miller's going to lead off. Here's Mike with the rest.
Yeah, fine starters, right. Brad Miller will lead off, and then it's going to be Nick Franklin. Raul Ibanez with a 12-game hitting streak, 360 average with 7 home runs over the 12-game hitting streak for Raul. He will hit third. Morales at DH, and then Seager Bay getting a start. He will hit 6. Smoke, Zunino, and Michael Saunders rounding out the 9 for the Mariners. John Lester on the year, 8-4 record, a 4.41 ERA for him, 93 strikeouts on the year. He's given up 13 home runs.
Fouled off by Miller. Strike one.
Let's say Miller and Franklin, top of the lineup, has worked well. We saw that start on Friday. Miller with the triple, and then Franklin followed with a home run. And then in yesterday's game, Franklin homered in the first inning.
3 straight games, 4 out of 5 Mariners have had first inning homers. Miller with 2 doubles, 2 triples so far. John Lester's got a 3-2 record here. Safeco Fielder's strike.
I was down at the hitting cages today. Brad was in the cage, and I was talking to Eric Wedge. He really thought a lot of his performance on Saturday, and I was trying to think back on Saturday. What did he do on Saturday? Well, he went 0 for 2, but he had 3 walks, and a couple of them he made the pitcher work, fouling off pitches, and so he was on base 3 times on Saturday. And Eric really liked that, and I was wondering coming into the ballpark with Lester on the mound, the left-hander, if he would leave Brad up there at the start, and I asked Eric about that. He said, you know what, he's been getting on base, bring some life to our lineup, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call.
We'll put that in the file. Getting a chance to see Lester for the first time. Take a look at the defense for the Red Sox. Mike Carp is in left field, and it's Nava in center. Johnny Gomes, the right fielder. And on the infield, Brock Holt. Haven't seen him. Get our first chance to take a look at him at third. Iglesias, the shortstop. Pedroia and Napoli on the right side. Sultan Lamacchia will do the catching tonight.
Keep in mind, Jacoby Ellsbury out with a wrist. Shane Victorino, he's out with a hamstring. He's day to day. So Daniel Nava in center field. First time in the big leagues he's played in center field. Played a total of 13 innings in center field in the minors.
Yeah, and Johnny Gomes typically will play in left or DH. You're talking about him pinch hitting, so maybe the Mariners can take advantage of that. I think the biggest thing, though, is not having Victorino and Ellsbury in the lineup against the Mariners. When you look at the Boston Red Sox, they are first in stolen bases. Ellsbury obviously a big part of that, so take that element out of the game for tonight.
Franklin's first look at John Lester. 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Good changeup from Lester.
Lester coming off a no decision on the 3rd against San Diego. Prior to that, 2 consecutive wins at Detroit and against Toronto.
On his last outing against San Diego, he went 7 innings, gave up just 1 earned run. And he's become a bit of a workhorse for John Farrell, the manager. He'll stay out there. He'll throw 115, 120 pitches for him if he needs to.
Bouncing ball to the shortstop Iglesias. 2 down.
I had a chance to see a little bit of him last year at shortstop, and he can make some fantastic plays out there. A lot of range, great hands, and with the confidence that he plays the position at, reminds me a lot of Omar Vizquel. Now, granted, he has a long way to go to get there, but you can see it almost a no-look throw across the diamond. That's the type of confidence he plays shortstop with. So, and he's off to a great start offensively. I think 395.
He's been off the chart. Speaking of which, here's Raul Ibanez. He has hit 12 consecutive games, including 4 for 5. 3 ribbies on July 4th at Texas. I mean, he has been fabulous for the Mariners. 257 hitter, 49 runs batted in.
Big shift on for Boston. Brock Holt, the third baseman, all the way around second base side. Iglesias stays at short. And Dustin Pedroia out in shallow right field. You see Pedroia out there just in the shadows.
Raul 1 for 4 yesterday.
Lester has a good fastball tonight. I know that's fastball at 94 miles an hour.
Speed work here tonight by Lester in the first inning. Two and two to Raul. Struck him out. Nice inning for Lester. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. We're underway here in Seattle. Mariners coming off a 4-2 road trip. Good action out at the pen. It's been like that since about 4:30. Felix Hernandez on the mound. He'll face 4, 5, and 6 in the order here for the Sox. Ortiz, Napoli, and Carp. David Ortiz, the former Mariner. Big Papi stands in 7th in batting, 3rd in on base, 3rd in slugging, 3rd batting average versus right-hander. Yeah, having a good year.
Be careful.
Be very careful. Ortiz, a .259 hitter with a homer and 4 runs batted in against Felix Hernandez.
I think the equalizer for Felix tonight is going to be his changeup against the power hitter Boston Red Sox. They have 5 left-handed hitters in the game tonight. A couple of them are switch hitters, but they'll hit left-handed against Felix. So that's typically good news for him in his changeup. You can see what he's done in his career. .259 hitter against Felix.
Just out of the reach of Miller. Base hit for Ortiz, 1-0 for 4 that ended last night, ending a 17-game inning streak.
It was actually a pretty good pitch. It was on the outside corner right at the knees.
Hits his DH. Great Harold Baines and Big Papi right on his tail. Victor Martinez, Hal McRae, Paul Molitor. He's the all-time big league leader in runs, doubles, home runs, and RBIs as DH. Napoli, who was was on fire the first, 6 weeks. He's cooled off, down to 257, 10 homers, 55 runs batted in.
Good news, you get to this part of the lineup. They don't run well, so double plays can certainly be turned. You have Ortiz, Napoli, Carpin, Saltalamacchia. Hit it on the ground, let your defense work for you. Felix with a double play ball in the first inning. Pedroia hit into it.
We've seen Napoli a lot over the years. He's one of those big back leg swingers. He's got tremendous power. He and Mike Morse were peppering the upper deck in left field during batting practice. There's Michael. He and Franklin Gutierrez will be in a simulated game with Stephen Pryor on the mound coming up in a couple of days. Strike 3 call. No protests from Napoli. 1 out. First strikeout for Felix.
Take a look at the T-Mobile defense for the Mariners tonight. Ibanez in left. Saunders getting the start in center field. Jason Bay in right. And a young infield for you. Kyle Seager at third. Brett Miller is the shortstop. Franklin and Smoke on the right side. And Mike Zunino will do the catching tonight.
Former Mariner Mike Carp. That's going to get down for base hit. Saunders will get it. And Mike, you know, he's got to be thrilled with that base hit. John Farrell said he has provided a huge lift for the Boston Red Sox.
We've seen enough of Felix. He's aggressive. Swings at a first pitch fastball and hits it hard into left center field. So the Red Sox will get an opportunity with a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight here in the second inning.
And they've been quite productive in that category. 278 batting average, runners in scoring position. Here's a switch hitting catcher, Jared Saltalamacchia. And as per usual, a lot of Red Sox fans here in the building tonight. Strike 1, Salty. Longest name, most letters in a name in Major League Baseball history. Felix in a 1-out jam.
Pretty good breaking ball from Felix. Just missed the outside corner.
A lot of letters. Make sure your sewing machine is totally filled up. Plenty of thread. Infield looking for a double play. 1-1.
Saltalamacchia having a solid year. 268 overall, 8 home runs and 35 RBIs for him.
Done well. 30 of his 64 hits have been for extra bases too, so be careful. Just outside. 3-1. On deck is Jose Iglesias. There's a strike. Full count now with 2 on. Felix with a 6-2 record against Boston. 12 previous starts, a 3.18 ERA. 3-1 here at Safeco Field in 6 starts. Good turnout, Nick. Line drive, left field, right at Raul
We're talking about Iglesias and his defense and comparing him to Omar. Watch the way he comes forward. Most of the time you see infielders with their glove, they'll take it back behind him to get a bigger hop. He actually tries to shorten the distance as he comes in and smothers the ground ball. Omar used to do that. Good looking shortstop.
Sure is. 300 clip over his last 6 games. Bouncing ball goes foul.
Mariners defense playing straight up with Iglesias, and he will spray the ball line to line.
Iglesias out of Havana, Cuba. Lives in Miami. Started the season with 71 days in the big leagues. Hit a .118 in 25 games last year. That pitch by Felix.
A good slider. Started that pitch at his hip and had a break right on the inside corner.
Felix with a strikeout of Napoli, looking for the first out in this inning, trying to end the second. Swing and a miss. They got him. Felix Hernandez comes up big with a strikeout with 2 out, 2 on. And when we come back, a unique happening in the King's Court. I'm told it's a first, and it is really something special. Four with the Sox, 3 with the Angels this week. And a little youngster there. Nice, good-sized young man. The King's Court onesie before it's all over here tonight. Kendrys Morales to lead it off. Kyle Seager, Jason Bay. Against John Lester, struck out Miller and Ibanez in the first inning. Morales 0 for 3 against Lester. Two and one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Put a little wrinkle in that one.
You see with John, to the right-handed hitters, he's going to use his fastball, and he'll locate it on both sides of the plate, but he wants to go to his changeup, back-to-back changeups to Morales. To the left-handers, using his breaking ball more.
Foul back.
Good fastball located right on the outside corner. 93 miles an hour.
Hit hard, right field, going back. Gomes can't get it. One hop off the fence. Leadoff double. Kendrys Morales for the Mariners here in the second. His 21st two-base hit. Told you about some unique happenings out in the King's Court. First, the turkey-like presentation. And it's going to go to... Got somebody wearing a horse's head. It's the first time for everything, right?
I was going to be impressed if that baby was the one that grabbed it.
Yeah, really. Give me that thing. There's 2 of them. Oh, my goodness.
Good start for the Mariners here in the second inning. Morales gets a changeup. Able to stay back on it, driving it over the head of Johnny Gomes, who's in right field.
Here's Kyle Seager starting today, 286. Second on the club to Nick Franklin's 287. Top batting average on the Mariner Ball Club, ball 1. Kyle, over his last 6 games, has been sensational. My goodness. Center field for Nava. He's there to make the catch.
That looked like a good pitch for Kyle, too. He hit it hard right at the center fielder, but it was a fastball out over the plate.
1 out, 1 on. I'll bring up Jason Bay in his first start since July 4th. On the 4-2 road trip. Jason went 2 for 9 with a homer and an RBI. Former Boston Red Sox. Bay with the Red Sox after the trading deadline in 08 and 09.
Red Sox will put the shift on him. You don't see this happen very often with a right-handed hitter, but Pedroia, the second baseman, is over on the shortstop side of things.
Full year that Bay was in Boston in 09. Great year. 36 homers and 119 RBIs. Left field. Mike Carter. Out number 2.
See if Justin Smoke can get a base hit and drive in a run. Mariners on a bad run right now. Runners in scoring position there. Over their last 21 with runners in scoring position, so they have to get it going. They've been scoring runs on the home run. That's the good news, but coming up with the clutch hits has been difficult for them.
50% of the runs, 50% of the runs coming on the home runs.
On the home run, yeah.
Smoke, a 186 hitter, right-handed, 11 for 56, looking for his first home run from the right side.
Justin homered in yesterday's ball game, a 2-run home run.
Take a look at our lows, never stop improving. Good news and bad news here. The home runs, runs per game, runners in scoring position. There's your bad news right there, 222, and at least 1 home run in each game.
I like seeing that 4.9 on runs per game. That's a good number.
Big time upgrade. Dave Hansen been putting in a lot of work with Justin Smoke, and the manager still has the utmost confidence in the young man. So it's a matter of him getting it done.
Well, Justin has raised his average up to 257. He's hit 4 home runs since coming off the DL. A lot to like there.
Popped it up. Iglesias, the shortstop, stays with it, makes the catch. That'll do it. A leadoff Morales double. Goes for naught in the second. No score here at Safeco Field. Boston Red Sox 7-10 first pitch. This game of throws tee featuring 1-2 combo of Felix Hernandez and Asashi Iwakuma, specially designed by Mariners fan Eric Walquist. There's Kuma with it, and it is free to the first 5,000 fans. For tickets and to view the winning design, go to mariners.com/shirt. Brock Holt just called up. That is a soap opera name if I ever heard it. Young man just called up from AAA Pawtucket, where he had 263, a homer, and 18 runs batted in. Came up on Saturday.
Yeah, just 4 at bats for him, 1 for 4 with an RBI.
Sounds like the hot young athlete from Anytown, USA on Name Your Soap.
And it figures there's a young man with just 4 at bats, hitting 9th in the lineup, and Felix falls behind. 3-0.
Right. Never fails.
Yeah.
Pitch walk. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Back to the top of the order, Daniel Nava, switch hitter. First walk by Felix, he struck out 2.
Nava flew out to Ibanez in left field. Fly ball all the way to the warning track.
Outside, ball 1. Mike Zunino out for a quick word. Red Sox fan amidst folks in the King's Court.
They should make it mandatory that she has to wear the yellow shirt.
That's exactly right.
I like the fact she was keeping score out there, though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oakland has defeated Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 2-1. Bartolo Colon wins it. He's 12-3. Grant Balfour's 23rd save. There's strike one.
Cologne going to the All-Star game. Well deserved, 12-3.
40, right? Not bad.
I think so, yeah.
Talking to John Farrell, the manager, I said, what do you like about your team? He said, offensively, we've been very consistent. Tough at bats. We grind them out. Rotation. Been consistent as a group with just a couple of hiccups there. Here and there, not many.
Well, they're 6th in ERA as a club. Mariners are 9th. Second in average, 1st in runs scored, 1st in stolen bases, 2nd in walks.
There he goes. Franklin right there. He held his ground. Throw out Nava. Down to second goes Holt.
Bring up Johnny Gomes. Gomes with a base hit in the 1st inning. Solid base hit into left field. Back-to-back innings now. The Red Sox will have a runner in scoring position.
Gomes started his career in Tampa Bay, 03 to 08. A couple of years in Cincinnati after that. Nino blocks it. He was in Washington in 11 and last year with Oakland. He's had some good home run years. 3 years, 4 years with 20 or more. 3 more years with 15 or more.
Well, he wants to hit the fastball. Felix started him with a slider right there and missed with it. Had a base hit on a fastball. There's a good fastball located on the outside corner and down.
Checked. It's a 2-1 count.
See on the EQC tracer, a changeup just off the inside corner.
Double play helped Felix in the 1st inning. 2nd inning, he pitched his way out of it. 2 on and 1 out. Two.
We've mentioned that Gomes likes to hit the fastball. Felix been able to get 2 strikes with the fastball, and I think that Johnny thought both those pitches down, but they were right at the bottom of the strike zone. Good late movement on his fastball from Felix. And you can see the location on our EQC tracer right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Two. Souvenir for that youngster. Holmes can be a dangerous hitter. 18 homers, 47 runs batted in for the A's last year in 99 games. Dustin Pedroia is on deck.
Boy, good pitch from Felix. Borderline down just off the inside corner.
A full count here. 1 out, 1 on to Johnny Gomes. Hit a long way and foul. Three and 2 the count to Gomes. Beautiful night here in Seattle. Felix on the mound. Great combo. Great weather. There we go, 3-2. Off the fist. Saunders puts it away. Time now for a CenturyLink link to what's next. Alan Webster against Hisashi Iwakuma, the other part of the 1-2 combination for the Mariners. Iwakuma leads the American League in ERA with a 2.60. Felix second at 2.69. First 5,000 fans in the ballpark can get that Game of Throws T-shirt. Likeness of Felix and Hisashi on the front of that T-shirt. Here's Pedroia. Pedroia bounced into a double play. Last time you saw a guy of his height, his stature, talking about Pedroia, take as mighty a swing as he's taken, as he takes on a regular basis and gets away and does well with it.
I don't think that I have, especially hitting for such a high average. You look at him coming into this game hitting 321. I was a little bit surprised. Home run numbers down a little bit for him. Just 5 home runs on the year, but he has 50 RBIs.
15 home runs last year.
He definitely turns it loose, though. And he's done that from the time that he's shown up to the big leagues. He's always had a pretty big hack.
Career best 21 home runs 2 years ago. Coming off the fist as well. Miller. Double clutch.
Great
Just
play.
got him. Nicely done by Brad Miller. Stayed with it all the way. Pedroia can't believe it. He's going to check the big board, but he's out and the inning's over. Nice play here by Brad Miller. First base umpire Jim Joyce right on the case. Gary Carter shirt, and in the Gary Carter Hall of Famer. Here's Mike Zunino popping one back this way. It'll be Zunino, Michael Saunders, Brad Miller. Mariners third. Oh, and 2 to Mike. How do you see his development as a hitter coming?
Well, I think for him, the right-handed pitching, the breaking ball is something that has given him a little bit of an issue, but that's to be expected within a young hitter. I think this is a pretty good matchup for him. He doesn't have to worry about the ball running away from him.
Like he did with Chapman the other day?
Well, that was 101 miles an hour. That was,
man, was that something?
That was something. Lester has a good fastball. He's throwing 94 miles an hour. He's been able to locate it. But I think this is a little better matchup for Mike. And he'll make those adjustments. He has a lot on his plate right now, and trying to catch and learn all these pitchers and go through the scouting reports and make sure that he gets his pitchers through the game. Hitting
Tell you what,
for a catcher at this level is secondary.
That's aces to this point, what he's done in that category.
I agree. He's done an excellent job behind the plate, receiving the ball, blocking it, keeping it in front of him, calling a game. There's the breaking ball from Lester, and when the ball's coming back towards you, it certainly helps. The right-handers can run that ball away from him, and tendency is to pull off of it, especially if they bust you in with a couple of fastballs. But that's some growth. Not a lot of minor league at bats for Mike. He's worked the count full.
Done a nice job looking for his first Safeco Field home run. First big league home run. Michael Saunders on deck. First big league home run at Oakland back on the 14th of June. Good job to work a full count, leading off the Mariners' third. Iglesias, oh, that's a sick play. They pull him off the bag.
Yeah, a little casual with the throw.
Yeah, what a great effort to snag it. So a base hit for Mike Zunino to lead off the third.
Well, he certainly had time to make a better throw, but this is an outstanding stop by Iglesias. Back up the middle. He's playing into pull. Gets up quickly. And just pulls Napoli off the bag.
What are you saying about Mr. O?
Well, you're going to see this a lot over the next 4 days. Just as far as hands go, he has some great ones. We saw that last year from him. Not happy with himself. He knows.
So Iglesias with the error, his third of the year. Here's Michael Saunders. Saunders trying to pick his game back up again. He was up in the great heights, close to 300 not that long ago, but then it's been a awful plunge for him down to 207.
Talking to Eric today, he's trying to get Dustin Ackley and Michael going in the right direction, and decided to play Michael tonight. I think mostly because he's 3 for 6 with a home run off of Lester, and give Ackley the night off against a good left-hander.
There you go. Strike one.
Two good fastballs. The last one at 94, just off the outside corner.
Two pitch here to Saunders, man. At first, nobody out.
That was the pitch that Michael had been waiting for, and he missed it. With a 2-2 count, I guarantee he's been watching, hitting ninth in the lineup. You have a chance to watch the other at bats, and to the left-handers, Lester has used his breaking ball, and he hasn't thrown one to Michael. A little bit late on that fastball. Best fastball from Lester so far at 95 miles an hour.
Saunders giving up a 1 for 9 on a road trip and a home run. Second inning Friday at Cincinnati, and the Mariners 4-2 win. A 2-2 count here. Top of the 10th, Detroit and Cleveland tied at 2-2. Kansas City leading at the Yankees 5-1, top 9. Here we go, 3-2. Strike 3 called. That is the 3rd strikeout for Lester.
Well, it looked like it was a good call according to the EQC tracer. Michael thought that pitch was down. Take a look at this pitch. I think it's more the way Saltalamacchia had to catch it. You can see how far back he is sitting.
3rd strikeout for Lester. Here's Miller to start the 2nd time through. 1 out, 1 on. Struck out looking his first time. Way outside, ball 1. Back up the middle, Brett Miller with a base hit. Zunino will hold at 2nd. He's an aggressive hitter. You're going to like that.
He likes the fastball. And why not? Pitcher misses with a first pitch breaking ball. Pretty good chance he's going to come back with a fastball, especially if you're in the leadoff spot and can run. Don't want to have him on base. And I think he takes advantage of that. It's just smart hitting. He hits that fastball back up the middle.
Brings up Nick Franklin, grounded out to short his first time. 6 for 24 on the road trip, 2 homers and 3 runs batted in. Good pitching matchup tonight. John Lester against Felix Hernandez.
Both pitchers have been in a little bit of trouble here through the first 3 innings. Felix has been able to pitch out of it. So far, Lester has too. Mariners 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. The Red Sox are 0 for 4. It's a big separator, Dave, when you talk about pitchers pitching themselves out of trouble. That's the difference when you talk about the elite guys, the guys at the top. And they just, for some reason, they just can bear down. They're going to give up some hits. They're going to walk some guys, but they typically can make pitches to get themselves out of trouble. He's one of the best at it.
Franklin behind 0-2. 2 on here, 1 out.
Looks like Lester's starting to mix in a cut fastball. About 90, 91 miles an hour. 4-seamers, 94, 95. Take a look at the seasons and the career for these 2 pitchers. 93 and 52 career record, a 3.82 ERA, and then Felix has won 106 games.
0-2 to Franklin. Breaking ball getting 2 down. That's the 4th strikeout. 2 outs here in the 3rd. Time for Ask the Booth at RootSports_NW. How long does it take the team to pack up after a road series? Well, an example I can give you is the other night we were in Texas. It was a July 4th. They had the fireworks show, and we wanted to get out of there. 30 minutes, it got done.
Right, but most of the time they give them about what, an hour 15?
Right,
an hour 15 for the guys to get showered, change, pack their bags, and get on the bus. But that was an exception, and we were out of there in a half an hour too, which was great because we didn't get into Cincinnati until, well, I don't know what time in the morning it was.
3 and change, 3 a.m.ish. JD for his question. 2 outs. Raul Ibanez, 2 on. Strike 1 on the foul tip. Raul struck out at a 2-2 pitch.
And that was the cutter again, 90 miles an hour, right on the outside corner.
Raul and David Ortiz, longtime friends, back when they were both in the Mariner organization. And Big Papi used to follow Raul like a little puppy dog. Raul's swing gets a little bit out of a whack. He calls David. He says, "What do you see?" David will tell him, "Hey, man." And he has this one thing. He says, "Tell Raul, what do you say? Knee to knee." And a certain rhythm that Raul has when it's working, man, that's when he's killing the ball.
It's a good guy to call.
Yeah, right.
"51 pitches for Lester, a little bit high for him, 32 strikes.
A 3-1 count here to Raul with 2 out, 2 on. Mariners looking to break through first on the scoreboard. Detroit beat Cleveland 4-2. Victor Martinez continues to scorch it. 2-run double in the 10th. Good spot for Raul right here. 3-1. Well back. I like watching Raul take batting practice too. Dave Alley was there and Dave said that is a professional approach to batting practice.
I'm glad you said that, because I was sitting there and I made the same comment to Eric Wedge, and I said the thing that is great about it is it's the exact same approach every day. Today wasn't unusual for him that he was having that. He does the same thing every day. First round, he will hit everything to left field, left center.
And hit it hard after
line drive. And I looked at Eric and I said, "It's fun to watch, isn't it?" And he says he's consistent. He does it every day. 18 seasons in the big leagues.
Payoff here to Raul. 2 out, 2 on. Runners go. Pitch. Hit to left field. Going back, Cart on the track. Makes the catch. Gave it a ride, but not enough. No runs. 2 hits. No errors. 2 left. Still scoreless in Seattle. We take a look at our AT&T trivia question. Which pair of players each won the All-Star Game MVP award? The Griffeys, the Alomars, both pairs, neither pair. That's a good question. Roberto Alomar, Hall of Famer. His father Sandy was a good player at his rate. And coach for a long time. Ken Griffey Jr. obviously going into the Hall of Fame. Ken Griffey Sr. had a couple of World Series rings with the With the Reds as Ortiz leads off. I'm going to go with neither pair.
Neither.
No, wait a minute. What is the All-Star game? No, Junior won one, didn't he?
Yeah, but you have to have both of them.
Yeah,
Junior
so
did for sure.
Yeah, so I'm
92, I think, was the All-Star game. Junior won the MVP.
I don't remember him really winning. I'm going to go with neither pair. Ortiz, base hit the center. He shows bunt. It's the last time he showed bunt. 3-0.
I thought Raul's first at bat, he may do it with the shift that they had on, but I don't think he would really try to bunt. I'm going to go with the Griffies. How about that?
All right. Line drive, base hit on a 3-0 pitch. Ortiz is aboard to lead off the fourth.
Well, he wasn't trying to hit a single here. He wanted to leave the ballpark, but Felix keeps this fastball down at the bottom of the strike zone as he lines it into right field. If this ball is elevated at all, he's got a chance to hit it in the air and maybe leave the ballpark, because that's what he was trying to do. Big leg kick for Ortiz, but look at his head, just stays right there in the hitting area. Solid base hit into right.
2 for 2 night for him. Brings up Mike Napoli, took a called third strike. Felix tonight has struck out 2, walked 1. That hit by Ortiz was the 4th hit.
Well, fans right now going both pairs. Here, neither pair. They're going with both pairs.
We'll get the big reveal coming up before long.
Well, just switched over to the Griffies.
Center field, fairly deep. Saunders puts it away, 1 out.
Felix, 54 pitches working here in the fourth.
The Red Sox will be glad to know that Kansas City won at the Yankees 5-1. Billy Butler, his 7th home run for Kansas City. Billy Butts won the Hutchinson Award here a few years ago, as did John Luster.
Former Mariner Mike Cart flying a base hit into left center field his first time out.
Strike 1.
And he swung at the first pitch fastball. This time Felix throws him the changeup. See where the pitch was on his last at bat. That was a fastball, though. That changeup that Felix just threw in a similar spot.
A little extra glow on Mike Carp. There's your source as the sun reflects off up in the upper right field corner behind the foul pole. Glass up there, as we're getting it here in our TV booth. See it on the side of his 3 and a 7 coming off there pretty good. 1-1 to Mike. Right to foul. 1-2. Carp's had a nice year of pinch hitting for the Sox, going 3 for 12, with a home run and 3 runs batted in. This is his 49th game. Felix with 2 strikeouts and looking for more. They got him. There it is. Big second out. That is strikeout number 3. Second strikeout looking tonight.
Well, take a look at our McDonald's Supermo. Felix, just a good fastball on the outside corner. Carp thought it was off the plate away, so he argued with home plate umpire Ed Hickox. We saw Michael Saunders arguing with him on a called third strike. That's just a good pitch. Good job by Zunino to hold it there, too.
Here's Saltalamacchia, lined out to Banez and left. He did swing on that. Boy, nice job by Zunino. Movement on that pitch. Strike 1. 0-2.
2 out, Saltalamacchia guessing that he's going to get a fastball in the first 2 pitches. Didn't. Felix threw him a breaking ball, and then the last pitch looked like the changeup again.
0-2 to Saltalamacchia. Pitch. Spiked it. Zunino all over.
Look how far out in front of home plate. This ball hit well out in front of the plate. And you can see Zunino. He knew that pitch was going to bounce up higher. And see him almost standing up, take it in the chest protector.
Ortiz at first with 2 outs. It's 1-2.
Felix still hasn't thrown him the fastball that he's looking for.
Wedge, Deck, Zarincic, we're talking to those guys the last couple of weeks. They're lamenting the fact, when are we going to get everybody healthy? Haven't had the entire group together since probably mid-March. Mike Morris working his way back. Stephen
Give
Pryor.
you an idea, they're going to have a simulated game on Wednesday with a lot of those guys in it.
All right, with Morris and Goody and Stephen Pryor.
Yeah. Still hasn't thrown a strike and still hasn't thrown him a fastball.
Head off right here, 3-2. Ortiz runs, pitch, swing and a miss. Struck him out. So the second time in the game, Ortiz leads off an inning and is left stranded. Felix with 2 big strikeouts to end the 4th inning. Coming up, Kyle Seager, Morales, Seager, and Bay as we move along here at Safeco Field. Back in town, roster move made today. Jeremy Bunderman designated for assignment. You see his record. Lucas Lipke got the call at about 10 o'clock last night. Didn't recognize Chris Wynn's phone number. Wasn't going to answer it. Dwight Bernard, the coach, said you better answer it. Now, how about this? From this group, you might see one of these guys. Mike, what do you think? Or Wendy's now that's better?
I think Ramirez has been progressing. I think he'll be the one that'll probably get the first shot at it. What do you think?
I tend to agree with you. From what I keep hearing about Taijuan Walker, they get him on an innings count for the season. He's 20 years old. He's doing well.
Doing great.
Brandon Mauer's been up here as Morales fouls one off 0-2. And Carraway, we saw him make his start late in spring training. Right-hander. Morales, Seager, and Bay here in the fourth. 0-2 to Kendricks. And hard. And foul.
By the way, I'm with you. I want to see Taijuan Walker too.
Thank you very much.
I don't think that's going to be
I don't think it is either. Being super careful, but he's got to learn at some point. Gooden came up at 20. What, Felix was 19 or 20 when he got
19.
Here? He hung one and paid for it. Base hit Morales on an 0-2 pitch.
Kendricks, good night. 2 for 2. Doubled his first time up. Now a solid base hit. This is just a hanging, breaking ball. Hooks it out into left field. See where the location was, right in the middle of the plate. Lester wasn't happy with himself. 0-2 leaving that pitch there. Well, Seager, he hit the ball hard his first time up, but it was right at the center fielder. So he's 0 for 1.
12 for 22 on the road trip. 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. Working on a 7-game hit streak. And a struggle for him against Lester, though. He's now 1 for 8. Not anymore. Base hit. Morales will get to third. That ball went off the glove of Pedroia. And here come the Mariners. First and third. Nobody out in the fourth.
I mentioned it. Kyle has been hot over his last 7 games. And another base hit. And this is a little bit of a break for the Mariners. Pedroia. You take a look at the swing by Kyle Seager and McDonald Supermo. Solid base hit into right field, but Pedroia on the dive ended up getting a piece of this. Morales doesn't run well at first, and he knocks this ball down just enough deflection, slow it down, deflect it away from the right fielder Johnny Gomes, which allows Morales to move from first all the way around to third. So a good break by the Mariners, and a great effort from Pedroia just off the end of his glove.
Kyle hit it hard. Now the Mariners in business. Former Boston Red Sox Jason Bay flying out to left field in the second inning. Daniel Nunn in center field, playing towards left center for Bay. Crowded in ball 1. A 2-0. And hit by Seager, the Mariners' 5th hit, 1 more than the Red Sox. Lester struck out 4 thus far, hasn't walked anybody. Got a good pitch for him tonight.
Good changeup on the outside corner. Didn't want to give in to Jason, even though the count was 2-0. There's a lot of his pitches working for him tonight. He's had a good breaking ball. His fastball's topped out at 95 miles an hour, and that changeup has been a good pitch to the right-handed hitters.
2-1 to Bay. 2 on. Nobody out.
Time he threw a cutter at 90 miles an hour, trying to get it in on his hands.
Two pitch. Strike 3 called. One out.
He goes back to a good fastball on the outside corner, 94 miles an hour. That is just really good command of your fastball. Cutter in on his hands at 90 and then goes back away from him with a good fastball. Tough to cover both sides of the plate.
Good strikeout. third time looking. Was hoping for a run here from Smoke. Couple of men aboard.
Justin's been swinging the bat well.
Popped up to the shortstop first time.
Just wants to keep the ball off the ground. Stay out of the double play.
Ball one. Felix 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, giving up 4 hits.
It's the third inning in a row that the Mariners have had runners in scoring position.
For the road trip, the Mariners went 8 for 53 runners in scoring position. Good news, they won 4 out of 6. Not an early offense. Cincinnati home runs.
Home run bailed them out.
Sure did. First inning home runs in all 3 games. 1-1. Rapley has no play.
That's a changeup well off the plate.
How about this one? Atlanta 7-1 over Miami in 14 innings. Atlanta scores 6 runs in the 14th inning to blow it open and win it. Goes in Miami.
Atlanta can hit some home runs. They're third in the big leagues with 108. Mariners are 6th with 104.
Big 1-2 pitch here to Smoke. Down the line, base hit! Scoring is Morales. Digging for third is Seager. In with an RBI double, Justin Smoke. And it's a 1-0 Mariner lead. For Smoke, his 16th RBI and 10th double.
Well, this will make Eric Wedge happy. We were talking about Justin Smoke, and he was telling me before the game today that Justin, when runners are in scoring position, has a tendency to just try too hard. He needs them to relax. He said he's had some conversations with him. Justin looked like he had a good batting practice, and he's been swinging the bat well. So this is a good hit for him. Get some confidence. Drive in a couple of runs, and you can look. Yeah. Feels good about it.
Yes,
he knows he's had his struggles in those situations, so he's trying to get it turned around. It's a good start.
That's his first RBI. Hitting right-handed. His third double. Right-handed.
Another great situation for the Mariners. Second and third with just 1 out. Middle of the Red Sox infield playing back, so they'll give up a run for an out here.
1-0 here to Zunino. Takes a strike, 1-1. Good ball that looked like it was going up the middle for a base hit. Shortstop Iglesias gloved it and then threw wildly, but it was a game of base hit. Felix with the lead, 1-0, trying to add more. 1 out. Crowded Zunino, 2-1.
71 pitches for Lester. Working here in the 4th inning. A lot of pitches for him.
Two and 1. Get something good to swing at. Coming up here 3-1 with Michael Saunders on deck.
John, a veteran pitcher, first base opening, of a left-hander standing on deck. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a changeup to him. He has had a really good changeup.
Pitch here to Zunino. Fouled it off.
And he tried to go back inside with a cut fastball and left it out over the plate.
Second time he's run a full count to Zunino. 3-2, infield up close now, 1 out. Second and third, off the fist, now back. Chance to pick up 2 here for Zunino. 1-0 Mariners on the smoke double. Three and 2 to Mike Z. Walked him.
Walked him on the changeup.
Bases are loaded. First walk issued by John Lester. And what a spot here for Michael Saunders. King Felix, he'll be on the mound again here at Safeco Field Saturday to take on the Angels at 7:10. Make sure you cheer on the Mariners ace, Kings Court. Get those tickets, $35. You get you a gold t-shirt, cake card, and make the Kings Court part of your weekend plans when you get your tickets now at mariners.com/Felix.
Pitching coach Juan Nieves making a trip out to the mound. Felix getting a good rest in the dugout. Mariners making Lester work. 75 pitches here in the 4th inning. They didn't throw a lot of pitches, still just 1 out. Mariners have 1 run in the inning. Base hit by Smoke to drive in the first run for the Mariners. Michael Saunders, number 9 here, will get an opportunity now.
21 pitches this inning. 4 to 5 Mariners batters have reached base this inning. Couple singles, a double, and a walk. Saunders, a 194 hitter against left-hand pitching. He's got 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. Ball 1. They're loaded with Mariners. You get Seager at third, at second, Smoke, and Zunino at first. 1-0 to Michael Saunders. Check his swing. Check down to third. He did. 2-0.
Well, Michael in his first at bat struck out looking, and all the pitches were away from him. He tried to throw everything. There you go. You can take a look at the EQC tracer. Eventually it was a called 3rd strike, that 7th pitch. Look at all those pitches off the plate away.
Well, he can do some damage here. Bases loaded. 2-0 counting. 1 out. Came back inside. 2-1.
Yeah. That was on the cutter. That's not the swing you want to see on a 2-0 count. Like Michael thought it was going to be a little further on the plate, and it was tying him up.
One pitch. Worked away. 3-1. Opportunity, a knock it.
Well, we talked about at the start of the game with John Lester. He has great stuff, but at times you can get him to throw a lot of pitches if you're patient, and that's been the case here in this inning. He has to come to him now. This will be the 80th pitch of the game for Lester. 25 pitches in this inning.
Make it happen pitch. Walked him. 2-0 Mariners. RBI for Saunders, his 18th. Scoring is Seager. Everybody else moves up.
Back-to-back walks. 8-9 hitters. Zunino and Saunders. RBI for Michael. Go back to the top of the lineup. Brad Miller. Miller with a solid base hit his last time up. Single back up the middle.
Miller can send this place into bedlam here. A little gap shot and everybody runs. Nicely done by Saltalamacchia. Short hop.
Yeah, that was on the cut fastball again. Catchers at this level, they don't expect pitchers to throw their fastball in the dirt, so that was a good play by Saltalamacchia to glove that.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Mariners looking for more. It's a 2-0 lead. Popped it up. Third baseman Holt with the play. Just missed it. Boy, there's a break. Jeff Nelson, the umpire, there to make sure. Good play on his part. You're right. Great effort by the young man. Brock Holt just called up Saturday.
Just out of his reach.
Seventh man to the plate, Brad Miller. Miller with a strikeout looking. There's that effort point. Whiff of the ball. Miller struck out looking. It's single to center. Here's the 1-1 from Lester. Popped it up, and it's playable this time. Holt has an easier play. Infield fly rule was in effect. 2 outs. I'll leave it up to Nick Franklin. Make sure you join us for another Coors Light Silver Bullet Saturday on July 13th. First 200 fans who enter the pen for early happy hour at the Rail Bar receive a free Silver Bullet Saturday t-shirt. It's going to get you extended happy hour pricing until first pitch. And then, if you catch a specially marked Coors Light baseball during Mariners batting practice, you'll win tickets to an upcoming game. So don't miss it. Coors Light Silver Bullet Saturdays return on August 10th against the Brewers. That's the day Ken Griffey Jr. goes into the Mariner Hall of Fame. Ball 1 to Nick Franklin. A ground out to short and strikeout for him today. 8th man to the plate here in the 4th. Bases loaded. Smoke at third. Zunino at second. Saunders at first. 1-1.
Nick's last at bat when he had the strikeout, all 3 strikes that Lester was able to get on him, off speed pitches. Gave him a breaking ball at his back foot. He swung over the top of it. Then it was a changeup and another breaking ball.
Takes another strike, 1-2.
Yeah, he was looking for those off speed pitches again, Dave. So he sneaks a couple of fastballs by him. Last one was a good one from Lester, 95 miles an hour. So even though he's throwing a lot of pitches in this inning, he still has a good fastball. 32 pitches in the inning.
Ball and 2 strikes to Franklin. The fist pounds one foul.
Lester, part of the reason why having to throw so many pitches. 20 batters, he's only thrown the first pitch strike to 8 of them.
It's been a good inning, but we're looking for the big inning. 1-2. That's out play.
Alex Wilson. Closer to this game. 88 total for Lester now.
Yeah, in the 4th inning. Ball and 2 strikes to Nick Franklin. Side 2-2. "35 pitches this inning. Felix has got a.
He's had time to take a nap in there.
Oh, honest to goodness. Good foul. Could have ordered takeout. The key is, when in doubt, get him as many runs as possible. He had a tough go in Anaheim. Wow, 90 pitches in the 4th. Let's talk about the Red Sox running up counts. Mariners have done a superb job here. 2-2 to Franklin. Staying alive.
Man, after Lester's thrown all those pitches, then Nick comes up there. 8 pitches to Franklin so far.
This kid's a rookie. What the heck's he doing up here?
He's fouling pitches off is what he's doing. Trying to hang in there.
Doing a good job. Who is this guy? Pitch.
That was a break. Look at the EQC tracer on that last pitch, and John not happy about it.
Oh, boy.
Ninth pitch of this at bat, and it looked like it was a good one, 92 miles an hour.
Oh, from the category of something's got to give. Here we go. 2 outs, bases loaded. And a 3-2 pitch to Nick Franklin. Pitch from Lester. Runners go. Swung on. Deep drive. Center field. Nava going back on the track. He's there. Makes the catch. The Mariners sent 8 men to the plate. They score 2. They would have liked more. But now Felix, King Felix, has a 2-0 lead here at Safeco Field. In the American League, the Boston Red Sox, who come in having scored 458 runs. Now Felix will face 8-9-1 here in Sox lineup in the 5th. Iglesias takes a strike. On a 1 to Iglesias, who struck out on a 1-2 pitch back in the 2nd. Felix with 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, no runs on, 4 hits. John Lester's pitch count certainly took a beating in that inning. 4th. Look out.
Well, that's not what Felix wanted to do.
Number 26, Ron Bowles.
Good 1-2 punch for the Mariners here in 2013. These guys have been outstanding. Kuma leads the American League in ERA starting today, and Felix right behind him. And coming up tomorrow against the Red Sox, Brock Holt stands in. Looks at the breaking ball, first strike. Here you go. Good looking t-shirt.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think it's well done. Eric Walquist of Bremerton came up with this design.
Way to go, Eric.
How did he know? 1-2 in ERA, both of them going to the All-Star game.
Love it.
A good t-shirt to have.
Good representation for the Mariners. Ground ball. Franklin can't get a base hit. Iglesias will make it to 3rd. Now here come the Red Sox.
Well, we talked about it with Felix in the dugout for a long time as Lester was struggling trying to get through the 4th, and Felix hits a batter, and now this base hit. Finds himself in trouble again. Both pitchers Well, it was going to be a good pitching matchup, but they both have been in trouble. The Mariners able to get to Lester for a couple of runs. We'll see what Felix can do here in the top of the 5th.
So the Red Sox, let's not give them short shrift. Sox are #1 scoring team in baseball. Cardinals lead the National League with 431. Sox at 458. Top of the order, Daniel Nava for 2 with a fly to left and a ground out to second. Work cut out now for Felix. Line drive, base hit, right center field. Scoring is Iglesias. Holt to third. In a 2-1 ball game. Daniel Nava, who's been outstanding this year, picks up his 51st RBI.
Solid base hit, 2 base hits in a row. This one looked like the changeup. Stayed on it. It wasn't a bad pitch. Right on the outside corners. He hit it back up the middle.
The Mariners huffed and puffed and struggled. Sent 8 men. Got 8 men to the plate. Scored twice. And the Red Sox go 1, 2, 3 here. The first 3 hitters have produced a run already.
It's happened quickly too.
Now 51 RBIs. Ortiz leads the club with 61. Napoli with 55. Daniel Nava with 51. 1-0 to Gomes. Bounces it foul. Or 1 to Gomes. They strike 1 and 2. Felix's court urging him on. He struck out 4 tonight, walked 1.
Well, they want a strikeout, and he needs a strikeout right here with nobody out.
Hits the Gomes. Swung on, gets by Zunino. That's going to tie the score at 2-2.
That's the first pitch tonight to get by him, and he's had his share to block, but he can't keep that one in front of him. Not sure if it hit the plate. It'll be another run for the Red Sox.
They get a strikeout. A wild pitch.
Let's see where this ball hits. Yep, hit the plate and bounced straight in the air.
Wild pitch. Strikeout number 5. New ball game at 2-2. And here's Pedroia with Nava down to second base on that wild pitch. Boy, that didn't take long, did it?
No. I mean, he hit the leadoff hitter, and then after that, it was a couple of quick base hits.
One-out runner at second, and a 1-0 count to Pedroia with Ortiz on deck. Pedroia bounced into a double play and grounded out. Check swing. I think one of the real operative words in baseball is grind, and that's what he's got to do here. 1-1 pitch here to Pedroia. 2 strikes. Went right below our booth, so somebody in print media section has a souvenir. Hope nobody lost the computer on that. Ball and 2 strikes. Pedroia, the 07 Rookie of the Year, the 08 MVP in the American League. Up the middle, Miller's got to hurry. Nicely done.
That was a good adjustment on that ground ball. The ball going across the grass. When it hit the dirt, it actually came up on Brad. And he made a nice adjustment with his glove to field it cleanly and throw out Pedroia.
Second time he's made a fine play of Pedroia as we take a look at our money tree in-time play.
Watch this ball. It bounces up on him. You see how low his glove is, and he had to bring it back up. Good play.
Go ahead run at third now. David Ortiz stands in, a base hit to center, base hit to right. Last time up a 3-0 pitch. Single to right field.
I have to tell you, I wouldn't give him anything to hit right here. You have 2 outs, first base is open, right-handed hitter Napoli, no bargain on deck, but Ortiz has hit the ball hard twice, and he is having a great first half.
I think he is thinking right along with it. Might as well just hold up the 4 fingers. Two and 0.
Well, it's base hit. His last time up, which was in the 4th inning, was on a 3-0 pitch. Ended up getting a fastball and hit it hard into right field. So,
as you pointed out, he was trying to elevate.
He was trying to elevate it. Hey, you can bet he's not taking this fastball. Felix throws it on the plate.
Walked in.
I don't blame him.
Well, that was the play.
Yeah, that was the play. Napoli 0 for 2 and a strikeout looking, and get a fly ball out to center field for an out.
As you mentioned, we all know, to quote you, he's no bargain. That is right on the money.
He's no bargain.
Because we've seen Napoli go deep a lot when he's with the Angels. And he's got 10 home runs and 55 runs batted in. As we play here game number 90 for the Red Sox. He tried to leave the yard. Inning started 1-1 pitch. Iglesias hit by a pitch. Brock Holt a base hit to right. RBI by Nava. Strikeout, wild pitch. 2-2 ball game. Lester getting a long look. He's got Napoli stepping in the bucket with a big swing twice now.
Yeah, Napoli is a free swinger. He can throw a couple of pitches off the plate here to see if he can get him to chase one. He doesn't have to throw him a strike.
Two here to Napoli. Ortiz takes off, swing and a miss. He struck him out. They needed that one. Strikeout number 6 for Felix as the Red Sox respond immediately and tie it up at 2-2. Roots Sports being brought to you by Sterling Bank. Nobody works harder for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Mount Rainier National Park. Beautiful sight. Driving or walking around the city today, it's nice to look down there and say, hey, the mountain came out to play. You could see it. It was beautiful.
Took a little while, but it finally got there.
Great sight. Here's Raul Ibanez. Mariners sent 8 men to the plate in the fourth. 2 runs on 3 hits and left them loaded. Nice pitch by Lester. 0-2. Raul a strikeout and fly it out deep to left field. Raul 4 for 14. 6 strikeouts against Lester.
Oh, boy.
High drive, deep right field. That baby's gone. A home run. Raul Ibanez, number 22. RBI number 50. The Mariners lead 3-2. No doubt about it.
Yeah, the home run has been a big part of the Mariners' offense in the first half, and Raul Ibanez, the biggest contributor. 22 home runs. Still a week away from the break. Felix likes it. Get that lead right back for him. How about Raul on an 0-2 pitch?
There you go.
Looks like a cut fastball, and he hammers it into the seats. Lester made a mistake, left it in the middle of the plate.
Takes Raul's hitting streak to 13 games. Mariners back on top. Broken bat looper, center field. Long run, Nava. He's on the scene and makes the catch.
Yeah, look at Raul Ibanez again. Oh.
15 rows back.
He's hit a lot of long fly balls to right this first half. 22 times round trippers for Raul. Kyle Seager led the club in home runs with 20 last year. Raul's already hit 22. We're not to the All-Star break.
Ball 1 to Kyle Seager. How about this? Only Bonds and Williams ahead of Raul Ibanez for home runs by a 41-year-old.
That's a great list he's already passed.
Wow. Pedroia will take care of this. Throws to Nepley. 2 outs. Brings up Jason Bay. He's 0 for 2. Fly to left and strikeout looking. A home run by Raul. The 14th home run given up by Lester. Second on the team. Ryan Dempster's given up 19. Into the camera well, and they were paying attention. Way to go, guys. Two here to Bay. 13-game hitting streak for Raul. Homers on an 0-2 pitch.
$80 home runs here at Safeco Field.
0-2. Just away. Jason Bay down the line. That's foul. Tough break. Into the second inning. Quick chat with Ed Hickox. Pretty good sign, the umpire. That was the 4th inning right there.
Change of attitude, huh?
I take it back. Bay keeps it going.
See pitchers do that from time to time. Have a conversation with the umpire on their way back into the dugout. And it's usually early, friendly. And I think, John's basically telling him, just stay with that pitch. It's running a little bit or it's sinking. Just don't give up on it. Trying to get him to hang in there and give him some low strikes or maybe some pitches that are running off the corner.
Swing and a miss. Bay's gone. Second time he struck out. That's 6 strikeouts for Lester. Good news. Raul Ibanez has put the Mariners back in front by the count of 3-2. Top of his 22nd home run, his 50th RBI, 3-2 Seattle. This Sunday, the Mariners in Bowie. Give a tip of the cap to our youngest fans for Salute the Kids Day at Safeco Field. Not only will all kids 14 and under take home a Michael Morse t-shirt, but they're going to be invited down on the field post-game for the first run around the bases of the summer. For tickets and family fun at the ballpark as part of Boeing Salute the Kids Day, live on theMariners.com. Former Mariner Mike Carp leads off. Carp, Saltalamacchia, and Iglesias 6, 7, and 8 against Felix. Got the lead back. Felix with 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Carp tonight, first pitch swinging in the second, single to center, then took a called third strike in the fourth.
Well, if the Mariners scored a couple of runs, Felix came out and gave up 2 runs, and it happened in a hurry. They had to sit in the dugout for a long time.
Saunders swoops over to make the catch, 1 out.
The beautiful thing about home runs, they happen fast too, so he was right back out there.
1 down here in the 6th. Saltalamacchia lined out the left and struck out. Ball 1. Felix a 6-2 career record against Boston, a 3.18 ERA, 3-1 here at Safeco, a 3.83 ERA. Justin Smoak coming up big with a 4th inning double to drive into Mariners' first run, and that ended a run of 0 for 25 runners in scoring position. Felix's troubles. They get started with his first hit batter of the season. That was Iglesias in the 5th.
And I think he hit him with the changeup. Keep in mind, too, this is a difficult offense to try to navigate your way through. Second in average, first in runs scored.
And that's in the major leagues.
The second in walks.
Fly ball left field. Fairly deep. Rolls under it. 2 outs. To revisit our AT&T trivia question, which pair of players each won the All-Star Game MVP award? Mike went with A. I went with D. Fans went with both pairs. Survey says both pairs.
Fans, all right.
Sandy Alomar, that's right, 97. Not impressive.
Father-son MVPs, and then brothers in back-to-back years. That's pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Jose Iglesias strikeout, hit by a pitch and scored in the 5th.
Felix pitch count getting up there on him now, working into the 6th. 95 pitches for Felix, 56 strikes.
Coming towards the line, Bay. Franklin yields. And in the pocket, right there is the catch by Bay. Felix does his job, goes 1, 2, 3 to 6th. Texas, 3 night games and 1 day games, and I'd like to look at the numbers from 2 aces here, Felix Hernandez and Iwakuma. Right-handers batting average, lefty.
We're talking about making pitches with runners on. Look at that bottom one. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. 116 average against Felix and a 100 average against Iwakuma.
Justin Smoke leads it off. Fouls it off. Knocked the mask off of Saltalamacchia.
There you go.
Get here tomorrow night. First 5,000 fans going to get this good T-shirt.
Well done, and the timing of it again. Who would have known there would be 1-2 in the ERA and both going to the All-Star game? Pretty good.
Great combo.
Talking about Raul Ibanez in that 22nd home run. He had a couple of notes on it. For Raul, his 12th of the 22 home runs this season for the Mariners have either given him the lead or tied the game.
boy, that
close.
play by Pedroia. That was a lot closer than anticipated.
Good hustle by Smoke. The 12 of the 22 home runs have either tied or given the Mariners the lead.
Okay.
And take a look at this. We'll take a look at this right here by Pedroia. Trying to backhand. You can see him try to smother it. Hits off the heel of his glove and runs out of it. But I like this one. Since June 1st, 9 of the 13 home runs he's hit have done the same. Either given him the lead or have tied the game.
And I like the fact that he just crunched one on an 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, 0-2.
Right?
Yeah. That's his 3rd home run in an 0-2 count this year.
There we go. He
And how
won
about
against
this
the
one?
Cubs.
His 8th home run off a left-handed pitcher.
That's really good.
Didn't hit any last year off of a lefty. Probably didn't have any opportunities with the Yankees.
With the Yankees, right.
Yeah. So thank Jeff Evans for those notes on Raul. Let's see if the Mariners catch a break on this. Smoke was hustling. That is close. Jim Joyce calling him safe. A little bit of a break maybe for the Mariners. Close play.
Smoke 2 for 3 tonight. RBI double. That was back in the 4th. Zunino 0-1. Lester's been working in on the hands for Zunino. That hit by Smoke was the Mariners' 8th on the night.
So far they've out hit the Red Sox 8-6. 110 pitches for Lester. Alex Wilson. He is getting loose again. 2nd time he's been up out in the bullpen for the Red Sox.
Two and 2 to Mike Zunino. Just 3 for 21 on the road trip. A couple runs knocked in. Well struck left field. That will get down a base hit for Mike Zunino. So the Mariners have the first 2 men aboard here in the 6th. Take this time to check in with Angie Menting.
Guys, the West leading A's, winners of 8 of their last 9. They were in Pittsburgh tonight, and another solid outing by Bartolo Colon. Pirates threatening with Andrew McCutchen at the plate. This guy's so talented. Line drive towards the gap. Coco Chris makes the diving catch in center to end the inning. The A's over the Pirates 2-1. Colon picking up his 12th win. Gentlemen.
That was a great catch by Coco Chris. The A's are really something. So the Mariners have chased Tacoma-born John Lester here in the 6th. Wilson will take over when we get back. 3-2 Mariners and looking for more. Monday Night Classic is a Midsummer Classic from 1979. From Mariner Bruce Bachty's big at bat to a throw by Dave Parker that you've got to see. The 1979 All-Star Game in Seattle, Sunday night at 9 only on Root Sports. And we show that guy right there because he's got an Expos uniform on in tribute to the late great Hall of Famer Gary Carter, who was MVP of that Classic. And Carter joins three other men who were two-time MVPs in the All-Star Game. And what a crew this is. Willie Mays, Steve Garvey, and Cal Ripken Jr. And Ripken won his second All-Star Game MVP right here in this ballpark. Right now, things to do for the Mariners as they have chased John Lester after 112 pitches.
9 hits for Lester, 3 runs. They were all earned. A couple of walks, 6 strikeouts, and he is responsible for the 2 runners that are on there. As you see Saunders squaring around and taking ball 1. Can't quite close the book on Lester tonight.
Well, a chance for a big inning looms again for the Mariners. They sent 8 men to the plate in the 4th, scored twice on 3 runs and left the bases loaded. (2-0) to Saunders.
Take a look at Alex Wilson. 25 appearances on the year, ERA to 5.10. 26 in the 3rd innings. 21 strikeouts, 13 walks. Is a little bit high. And he is quickly behind Saunders, 2-0.
Swinging away, sends Nava back, gone back, running out of room, can't make the catch, base of the fence. Here's Smoke, he's going to score. Zunino right behind him. Zunino stopped as the relay got botched, and Zunino does score. 2-run score, and the Mariners have a 5-2 lead. What a drag by Saunders.
Well, this turns out to be a great call by Eric Wedge. Saunders squaring around the first 2 pitches, gets to 2-0, and then Eric takes the bunt off and lets Michael swing away. And Michael is aggressive on this fastball, knows he's going to get the fastball. You can see it right off the barrel. And he hit this ball 400 feet to center field. Nava trying to make the over-the-shoulder catch, but hits at the base of the wall.
So a double RBI E8. Chance for Brad Miller to pick up a run. So Zunino to 3rd on the double, and he scores on the E8.
Good pitch for Brad to try to pull in this situation. You want to try to pull the ball if you can. Nobody out. Saunders at second. You make an out, you want it to be a productive out.
Off the end of the bat. Saunders down to 3rd. Third baseman vacated. Shortstop covering. Safe.
Good base running from Michael. Talking about it all the time, Dave. Speed can put a lot of pressure on you. There's nothing that the third baseman Holt can do on this. He has to come in, and then watch Michael. Stops, and it starts to go right away. As soon as he sees that he has to be committed to go to first, he takes off to 3rd. Iglesias, good play to try to make a tag there. All bounced. Again, he picked this ball and get the tag down. Oof, might have had him.
Yep.
Wow.
2 breaks this inning. Take them and move on.
Nobody says you have to give them back, right?
Franklin trying to pick up Saunders now. They go for 3. Ground out, strikeout, and a fly out. 5-2 lead here. 0-2. Trying to get another run for Felix Hernandez. And Saltalamacchia holds on. Franklin strikes out. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. Tuesday, Wednesday night games, Thursday day game, and then the Angels come to town. Then everybody gets a break. And then the Mariners will open up the second half of the season at Houston for 3 games and then come right back home. Here's Raul Ibanez. With the Mariners ahead 3-2. Did that leading off in the 5th on an 0-2 pitch.
And look at the location of it. It's a cut fastball in the middle of the plate.
He hammered it. 22nd home run. 50th RBI. Oh, base hit up the middle. Raul Ibanez continues to amaze. Mariners have a 6-2 lead. Back-to-back plate appearances with RBIs for Raul. He's got 51.
He turns around another fastball. It's 94 miles an hour, and Wilson throws it and has to duck. Raul hits it right over the top of his head. He is squaring the baseball up tonight. Take a look at the swing by Raul. Again, right on the barrel. Well, there's a lot of what we saw him doing in batting practice today,
exactly.
Dave.
That's exactly what we saw. There's Morales. Batting right-handed for the first time. Looks at a strike. He's had a good night. 2nd inning double. 4th inning single and a run scored and a fly to center. That was in the 5th. Alex Wilson on in relief of John Lester.
Close the book on Lester. 5+ innings, 5 runs, all of them earned.
Fouled back. Alex Wilson, born in Saudi Arabia. Lives in Hurricane, West Virginia.
5 runs, 4 earned. Forgot about the error.
Played his college ball at Winthrop University in South Carolina. Popped up, playable. Glacius calls everybody off, makes the catch. Great inning for the Mariners as they get 3 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, and they're at leave a man lead at 6-2 for Felix. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports being brought to you by Auburn Volkswagen, Das Auto, and by Jack in a Box. Go to a Jack in a Box near you with Jack's new Big Stack Burger. The LB Scenic Railroad Great day for fans to be outside Mount Rainier. Very nice. What a great summer day here in Pacific Northwest. And a great evening here at Safeco Field with Felix Hernandez on the mound and a 6-2 lead. Top of the make that Brock Holt, number 9 hitter. Brock Holt, then Daniel Nava and Johnny Gomes.
Oliver Perez getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. Felix now at 97 pitches.
Holt, a walk, and a base hit to right. Scored on a wild pitch in the 5th. Sharply hit, backhanded nicely by Miller. 1 out. Take now.
He's made a couple of plays at shortstop. And this one tonight, one was a little bit of a bad hop, and then this, take a look at it. Slicing line drive, backhanded play.
Well played. Daniel Nava, first game in the major leagues in center field. And what a center field it is here.
It's a big center field.
Oliver Perez warming up. Hey kid, go get him. Played 13 innings in center field in the minor leagues. Saunders has a beat on it. Good inning so far for Felix here. Quick 2 outs. Ladies, the city's largest diamond is calling your name. Safeco Field Diamond, that is. Round up your girlfriends at EQC Girls Night Out this Friday. First 10,000 women 21 years of age and older going to pick up a fashionable Mariners cosmetic bag. For tickets, take the girls out to the ball game and the Mariners take on the Angels. Log on to mariners.com. Foul ball.
Well, Felix now over 100 pitches. 102 for Felix, 62 strikes.
Let's go Felix chant, and a loud one too. 0-1. Johnny Gomes pounds one down to Seager. Routine play, throws him out. 3 up and 3 down for Felix in the 7th. He's holding down the #1 scoring team in Major League Baseball with a 6-2 Seattle lead. It's been brought to you by Washington's Lottery. Last year, Washington's Lottery turned 28.6 million Washingtonians into winning heirs. They could do the same for you. Thanks to Washington's Lottery, winning heirs are made daily. It's a winning going on here at Safeco Field. First of 4 with the Boston Red Sox, first place in the American League East, the #1 scoring team in baseball. Felix and the Mariners have a 6-2 lead as we play the bottom of the 7th inning. Several more runs would not hurt. Kyle Seager, Jason Bay, Justin Smoke, 5, 6, and 7 for the Mariners.
Well, Felix is done tonight. What a job he did. 2 runs in 1 inning. It started with a hit batter of all things, but after that he settled down. Held down a really good offensive club.
Felix talking with assistant trainer Rob Nodine. Seager's lined out to center. A hard hit ground ball knocked down by Pedroia. Got a base hit out of that and a ground out to second. Alex Wilson came on in relief of starter John Lester after Lester gave up back-to-back singles to open up the home 6th. Felix, if everything works out right, is going to pick up his 9th win and end a run of 3 consecutive no decisions. Seager's aboard, a leadoff walk. Let's check in with Angie Menton.
Guys, the Mariners made a roster move today, bringing up Lucas Litke. We believe they will make another one on Thursday. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. We're thinking that maybe it'll be Erasmo Ramirez, the right-hander, last start for the Rainiers on Friday. That means he would be on an extra day's rest Thursday. In 7 starts with Tacoma, Ramirez 3-3 with an ERA just over 3. But who knows? If they don't need Blake Bevan between now and then, maybe that's why they wait till Thursday and maybe give Blake Bevan a start.
That's in play.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Lucas Litke on the right, Blake Bevan in the middle, and Farquhar, Danny Farquhar on the left. Breaking ball misses. Bay looking for his first hit tonight. Fly to left, strikeout looking, strikeout swinging. Popped it up, going back is Pedroia. One out, one on, 7th inning. Swing for the fences just like Kendrys Morales and Kyle Seager with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. It's available on iPhone and iPad. Download free today.
How about Justin Smoke? He has really swung the bat well since coming off the disabled list. Has a couple of hits in this one tonight. Picked up an RBI, scored a run. Look at that 263 average just on the climb. He's also hit 4 home runs since coming off the DL.
Seager at first pitch here. Smoke rifled foul.
I love it. Get up there, first pitch fastball in the middle of the plate, try to do some damage.
Gets through. Saltalamacchia. Seager advances to second.
They'll advance on the wild pitch. Oliver Perez looks like he's going to get the call in the 8th inning. Felix's night is finished. A lot of congratulations to him in the dugout. So Perez starts to crank it up again.
Perez coming off a brilliant performance a few nights ago against Cincinnati. 11 pitches, strikes out the side. 1-1 to Smoke. Slicing drive deep. It gets over Nava's head. Seager's gonna score. Smoke continues to pound the baseball. An RBI double his second tonight, his third straight hit, and it's 7-2 Seattle. We were just talking about what a big center field it is here at Seattle.
Well, Nava doesn't get the greatest jump on it, but I don't think he would catch this anyway. This ball is hammered out to center field. It gets to the wall in a hurry, and it's on a line. Full extension right on the barrel. That was a good-looking swing by Justin Smoak.
Changes the entire dynamic of the team if this kid starts ripping the ball doubles and triples. How about this? Mariners 7-2 over the Red Sox in the seventh. The number one scoring team in baseball, the Red Sox 7-2. Time for Ask the Booth. What does it feel like to get hit with the ball directly in the catcher's chest protector? All right, get a lightweight pillow, put it in front of you, and find maybe about a 17-year-old male and tell him to take his right hand and pull it back about 12 inches and tell him that about 70% and hit you right in the chest. About what it feels like. That'll give you an approximation of what it feels like.
Yeah, I think when it's a ball that's in the dirt and they're blocking it, it's really not that bad. But those foul tips that they take sometime, and especially if it gets you in the collarbone, even though you have the chest protector up there, that one will leave a mark, and you'll feel it for a while.
When you did your Roger Hansen drills, it felt like what?
Well, again, the chest protector part of it wasn't as bad as all the ball that you take off your wrist and your hands and
fingers
and your neck. Yeah, I used to hate walking out there and seeing that pitching machine on the mound. I knew it was coming my way, and I didn't like those days.
It was dialed up too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Speaking of catchers, Mike Zunino steps in.
But Mike, 2 hits, run scored. Pitcher is Jose De La Torre.
Just 3 appearances on the year for him. ERA just over 5. Only 5 1/3 innings. 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Giving up 1 home run.
Hitting heroes tonight. Let's see. Raul Ibanez, 2 for 4, a home run, 2 ribbies. Justin Smoak, 3 for 4, 2 runs batted in. Smoak is 10 for his last 22.
As you mentioned, starting to do some damage. And to drive the baseball. Swinging well. Gaining some confidence, feeling good about himself. There's Justin out of second base, and Ibanez in the dugout.
Michael Saunders has a couple of RBIs, 1 on a bases loaded walk and a double over the center fielder's head.
And Michael's also scored a run.
De La Torre comes over to the Red Sox from Cleveland July last year for infielder Brett Lillibridge. 1-2.
Let's take a look at the line for Felix Hernandez. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs. They were both there. Walked a couple of batters, also hit one. That batter scored. 6 strikeouts, 103 pitches, 63 of those pitches for strikes for Felix tonight.
2-2 to Zunino. Zunino looking for his 3rd hit tonight. 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Zunino's retired for out number 2. And all Sunday through Thursday home games this season. Mariners and EQC are partnering to offer savings to our country's servicemen and women. All you have to do is show a valid military ID at the Safeco Field box office. You receive up to $10 off seating, off select seating, and it'll help you join us here at the ballpark all season long to take part. EQC military specials. Michael Saunders. Strike 1 to him. Strikeout looking. Bases loaded walk. RBI double. Way out in front.
A good changeup, 84 miles an hour, just off the outside corner. Well, in-game box score for the Mariners looks good. A lot of guys having a good night. Justin Smoak 3 for 4. A couple of RBIs, and Ibanez his 22nd home run of the year.
Not a surprise, Mariner trends on Twitter. Raul and Michael Saunders. Mariners 10 games under 500 starting tonight. 12.5 back off the pace. Oakland 1 already behind Bartolo Colon. He goes to 12-3. Texas wanted Baltimore 8-5. Derek Holland going to 7-4. 1-2 to Saunders. Holt will not get that one. Comes the 1-2. Saltalamacchia has earned it tonight. Saunders trying to pick up a base hit on a 2-2 pitch coming up from De La Torre, who hails from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Foul off again.
Michaels had to file off a number of changeups. Good location, all those pitches away from him. Red Sox have been consistent in the way they want to pitch Michael. Stayed away from him the entire night.
Solid drive into the gap. Michael Saunders going to stretch him out. Smoke's going to score, make it 8-2. And Michael Saunders back-to-back doubles. Third RBI tonight. It's 8-2 Mariners. There's the rebirth we've been looking for. That's a great at bat.
Said he fouled off a bunch of changeups. Finally gets one. It's on the outside corner. The other's just off the plate away. And this one he reaches out and hammers it into the gap in right center field. Good night for Michael.
3 runs batted in tonight for Saunders. 2 for Smoke. 2 for Ibanez. And a 3 for Saunders. Ties his season best.
And the Mariners are now 5 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Back-to-back doubles for Michael.
Coming with 2 outs. 8-2 lead. 13 hits for the Mariners. Good looking sight. Miller yanks one foul. Wedge liking what he sees, and hope.
I guarantee you Dave Hansen, the hitting coach, is too.
Oh,
he's put in a lot of work with Michael and Justin, and it's paying off.
Hope this is the start of something big here. Hope to get Michael Morse back for the second half of the season. Two and one. Noted. $21,830 on hand here. 2-1 to Brad Miller with 2 outs, and Saunders at second. 2-2. Miller, the 6th man to the plate here in the 7th inning.
Well, Brad 1 for 4 tonight. Had a solid base hit back up the middle.
King's Court. Seen their hero go 7 strong innings. Offense more than supported him tonight. Talking about Felix Hernandez. Through the hole, a base hit. Here comes Saunders. He'll score. Brad Miller with an RBI, his second of his young tenure here in the big leagues. And the Mariners have a 9-2 lead. Two hits tonight for Miller.
Another good at bat. 5th pitch, solid base hit through the hole on the right side. Again on the changeup. Pitch is down, stayed with it. Pitching coach Juan Nieves making a trip out to the mound.
4 men with RBIs tonight. That's a beautiful sight. 14 hits for the Mariners. 3 RBIs for Saunders, 2 for Smoke, 2 for Ibanez, 1 for Miller.
Well, Nick Franklin homered on Friday. Didn't get the start on Saturday and homered again yesterday. But he's looking to join this party. Nick's 0 for 4 tonight.
Strike 1. Feeling good in that dugout. There's Joe Saunders coming off of 2 outstanding starts.
A lot of it was set up from the road trip. They had to gain a lot of confidence going into Arlington and then into Cincinnati and winning both those series.
2 good hitting teams. A little dunker. Let's see if that'll get down. Long run Nava. That's 1 hop to the fence. Miller, crazy legs, going to score easily. seem like he hit it that far, but he did. That's the strength of Nick Franklin.
What he has is he has exceptional pop, Dave. He had a fly ball to center field in the 4th inning. That looked like it was a routine fly ball, and Nava had to go all the way up against the fence 400 feet away. And this is a good inside-out swing. I mentioned Nick trying to join the party over 4. Well, he checked in with a double and an RBI. Watch him pull his hands inside right here. Just nice inside. Barrels this one up. Slicing fly ball out to left center field. And then crazy legs Brad Miller. There he goes. Long strides.
Double digits.
Those two have been really good for this club at the top of the lineup. Some energy up there. This guy hasn't been bad either.
Capital E on that energy, let me tell you.
Roll now with a 13-game hitting streak. He's 2 for 4 with a home run, a couple of RBIs.
One to Raul.
15 hits for the Mariners.
All the 8th man to the plate here in the 7th inning. Big 4 spot up there this inning.
Doesn't look like much right now, but Raul, another clutch home run. It was a 2-2 game when he hit his home run to give the Mariners the lead. They've just piled on since then.
Fooled him on that one. Inning's over. But what a great inning it was as the Mariners score 4 times and blow this thing open at 10-2.
Mariners now lead it by a score of 10-2. They break it open in the 7th inning, scoring 4. And could there be a better way to start this series with the Boston Red Sox? Felix Hernandez did his job tonight. Sashi Iwakuma will be on the mound tomorrow. Also tomorrow, the first 5,000 through the gates gets one of these. I've already got mine. And by the way, this obviously after the Game of Thrones, it's the Game of Throws. This was designed by Eric Walquist of Bremerton. This was very cool, guys. By the way, Michael Saunders, Dustin Ackley, both those guys, huge Game of Thrones fan, the show.
Yes, and I'm not surprised. Oliver Perez on for the Mariners. Line drive off the bat of Pedroia on an 0-1 pitch.
And for Oliver Perez, 35 appearances on the year. Had to work a lot here in the first half. A 1.39 ERA, 46 strikeouts and 32 and a third. That's a great number for him. Ryan Lavarnway will pinch hit for David Ortiz.
Snyder, Brendan Snyder's going to run for Pedroia. Ryan Lavarnway stand in. Backup catcher. Yeah, two of the tallest catchers. What a height of both of these guys. Salty's about 6'4", and Lavarnway is about the same height. Big guys. Pinch hitting for Ortiz here. Popped up. Does not come back to Zunino.
Just 26 at bats for Lavarnway. He is hitting .308.
Like, I got to retip my cap to Nick Franklin. I didn't think that ball had that much carry off his bat that last at bat. I really didn't.
Yeah, no, like I said, the fly ball that he hit in the fourth inning to center field for an out fooled me. He hit it all the way to the fence 400 feet away, and it looked like it was just a routine fly ball. And we've talked about it with Nick. When he puts the barrel on it, the ball really jumps off of his bat.
He's got that little something special, something going on. 1-1 here to Lavarnway. Off the fist, pops this one up. Here comes Raul Ibanez.
Take a look at this swing by Nick Franklin. Watch his hands, how he pulls them inside. He's beat on this pitch, and he just pulls his hands back inside, just fighting to get the barrel to the baseball, and he drives it into the gap in left center field. That's why this ball was slicing away from the center fielder, Nava. Ended up hitting down there off the warning track.
There's two long ones he hit tonight, and one fooled the heck out of you, and that one really got me. Jeez, I didn't come off the when it comes off the bat watching live action. It looked like,
hey, keep fooling me. I like seeing it.
Hey.
Barrel it up, kid.
I'm on board with that. Here's Napoli. Napoli tonight, strikeout looking, fly to center, and a strikeout. It's 10 runs by the Mariners, most they've scored this year at home, and it's just their second double-digit scoring performance of the season. They scored 12 at the Yankees on May 15th. To the gap. That's hit well by Napoli. On his horse is Snyder, getting a big wave on. And he's going to come around. He'll score. So Napoli with an RBI double. Mike, his 23rd double, his 56th run batted in. A 10-3 Mariner lead. Now today's whiff brought to you by Head & Shoulders with a hint of Old Spice.
And it is Felix Hernandez. He pitched well again. One of the better offenses you're going to see in baseball. And Felix did his part tonight, going 7 innings and giving up just a couple of runs off of the Red Sox. Good changeup tonight. Well located fastball. Mixed in his breaking ball a few more times. A couple of curveballs and some sliders tonight. But a good outing for Felix. Felix, he is looking for his 9th win.
Mike Karp, the hitter. Mike with a single. Strikeout looking and a fly to center. Puts it in play. Franklin stays with it. 2 down. Down the third goes Napoli. So 2 outs, a run in, man at third. Here in the Red Sox 8th.
Bring up Salta Lamacchia, switch hitter, turn around and hit right-handed against Perez. Salta Lamacchia tonight 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls to left and a strikeout.
Breaking ball for strike 1. Ten runs on 15 hits for the Mariners. 3 runs on 8 hits and an error for Boston. 0-2. Joe Saunders, Aaron Harang, big road wins for them. Harang said he felt so comfortable pitching back in Cincinnati when he played for 8 years. Saunders, long run towards the gap. Going back, and it's off the fence. Gets it back in as Salta Lamacchia drives in a run with a double. It's his 23rd double and 36th RBI. Get downtown from the airport for only $2.75 on Sound Transit's Link Light Rail. See how easy it is at soundtransit.org. Earl Willis coming out.
So far, Oliver 13 pitches. He's throwing strikes, 12 strikes. Unfortunately, a couple of them in the middle of the plate. That last one he's not going to be happy about. Had him set up 0-2. Gave him too good a fastball to hit.
Uravis Medina going to heat it up. Perez has given up 3 hits in this inning. 2 runs. Hitter's going to be the shortstop, Jose Iglesias. Ball 1 to Jose, a strikeout, hit by a pitch back in the 5th. Fouled out to right field in the 6th. 21,830 on hand here at Safeco Field tonight. 1-1. Mariners scored in 4 consecutive innings. 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th. Lamacchia out there at second base with an RBI double. Swings. 2-2. Big RBI nights for the Mariners. 3 for Michael Saunders, 2 for Smoke, 2 for Banez, 1 for Franklin, and 1 for Miller. The other run scored on an error by the center fielder Daniel Nava. Back in the 6th. Two. Popped it up. It's playable. Smoke has it. Fair territory, and that'll do it. Red Sox get a couple of runs on 3 hits and leave them in to the home 8th. 10-4 Mariners. Sports being brought to you by BNSF Railway, the engine that connects us. By Linwood Honda, experience the difference. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Not rain here in the background. Is that gorgeous or what? Beautiful day here in greater Seattle area. Hope you had a fine day wherever you're watching us from. Mariners enjoying this evening. Let me tell you, they have a 10-4 lead on the Red Sox, the #1 scoring team in Major League Baseball. Felix Hernandez en route to his 9th win. He went 7 innings. Mariners here in the 8th will have Morales, Seager, and Bay. Brendan Snyder stays in the game at third base, and moving from third base to second base is Brock Holt.
Well, Mariners have 6 hitters in their lineup that have at least 2 hits. Morales, one of them. Has a couple of hits in this one.
I had that missing. Did hit. All right. Well, went into the catcher's glove, so.
It's a piece of his shirt, maybe.
Yep.
Yep.
Kyle Seager scored twice tonight, got an infield hit, reached on a walk. Avis Medina will come on. He'll pitch the 9th. That's the kind of turnaround you were looking for. 6 for 18 for the Mariners tonight. Been a problem all year. Came in with 220 batting average, runners in scoring position, dead last in the big leagues. 3-0 to Seager. Jason Bay on deck for his first hit tonight. Three and one. First 2 men have reached. Second walk. As we check in with Angie Minton.
Guys, the Rangers started out the day a game behind the Oakland A's, taking on the Baltimore Orioles tonight. And we check in with them. Bats coming alive in the 6th inning. Ian Kinsler doubles home a pair of runs. Kinsler with 4 RBI in the night. The Rangers put up 6 in the 6th, and they down the Orioles. 8-5 is the way it ends. Guys?
All right, Angie, thank you. Here's what the American League West looks like right now. Mariners trying to get to 9 games under 500. Strike 1 to Jason Bay. Pitchers Jose De La Torre. 0-2 to Jason. There's 2 men have reached here in the 8th. Bay's gone. 3rd time he struck out tonight. And for De La Torre, that's his 3rd strikeout. Catch new episodes of Mariners All Access every Sunday throughout the season before the Mariners pregame show. Get exclusive player interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and Mariners stories you can't find anywhere else. If you missed Sunday's episode, tune in for re-airs throughout the week on Root Sports. For your local programming schedule, visit rootsports.com. How about Justin Smoke? After popping out to the shortstop, he's gone double, infield hit, double, and the doubles have both been RBI doubles. Give you an idea what kind of run he's on right now. He's 10 for his last 22.
That's his average, 267 now.
Take it. Let it climb, big fella.
Medina continues to throw in the Mariner pen, so he will pitch in the 9th inning.
Good count here for Mr. Smoke. Hitters Mike Zunino. He's got 2 hits tonight. Runs scored.
2 for 3.
Strike 3-1. Michael Saunders has driven in 3, Smoke 2, Banez 2, Franklin and Miller 1 apiece. Highest scoring output at home so far this season for the Mariners. 3-1 to Smoke. He takes ball 4.
Bring up Mike Zunino. That might pick up some numbers here. Bases loaded. Have just the 1 out. Dave mentioned Mike already with a couple of hits in the game.
De La Torre has walked 3 since entering the ballgame. Bases loaded, 1 out. Strike 1 to Mike. That is a foul ball. Game 2 of this 4-game set, 3 night games and a day game. Coming up tomorrow night, Alan Webster, youngster, making his 6th start against Sasashi Iwakuma, the American League leader in ERA. To Zunino. Check swing. De La Torre can't get it. Anybody covered? A bare hand catch by Brock Holt. Run does score. It's 11-4.
Be an RBI for Mike. Let's take a look at a little bit of a check swing. Gets by the pitcher, so the first baseman, Napoli, will have to pick it up. He flips it over to Holt. That was the right call by Jim Joyce. That could have been scary because Holt, you can see him concentrate. Then he slips right there. And you get your legs tangled up.
Zunino, good athlete, got him out of the way.
Yeah.
Saunders, tonight's RBI champion with 3. 11-4 lead for the Mariners.
Seven, 8, 9 hitters for the Mariners tonight. Driven in 6 and scored 5. Good production from the bottom of your lineup. Smoke with his 3 hits. Zunino with a couple. Saunders with 2 hits. Six pitches in relief.
You gotta wear one, big boy.
Yep.
That is foul. Man, that was 2 more RBIs for Michael and another double.
Yeah, would have been his 3rd.
He's got back-to-back RBI doubles. Drove in another run with a walk.
Breaking ball, and he hits it hard right down the first base line. First base umpire Jim Joyce standing right there, had a good look at it. Michael just hooks it foul.
We'll get to hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Joyce on home plate tomorrow night. One of really good umpires, one of fine gentlemen in baseball.
And with Iwakuma on the mound, we should hear him yell out that strike call quite a bit.
1 and 2, 2 outs, 2 on. 11-4 Mariners, bottom of the 8th. Mariners at 2nd and 3rd. Michael's night certainly has picked up after taking a 2-2 pitch for a called 3rd strike in the 3rd.
He wasn't happy about that call either.
Not even close. An RBI and a bases loaded walk and then back-to-back RBI doubles. Pretty doggone good. Two and 2. He's got a full count now. Brad Miller's on deck. He picked up an RBI single last time up. He's got 2 hits. There you go, 3 and 2, and now back off. Three and 2 to Saunders. And Saltalamacchia holds on. That'll do it. Mariners get another run. They leave 2 to the 9th. Medina will take over. 11-4 Mariners. Today's Tracer Technology is brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 11-4, Mariners over the Red Sox. As we take a look at our Columbia Bank difference of the game, it has been a booming night, Mike, for the Mariners and Raul Ibanez.
Well, Raul Ibanez, his 22nd home run of the year. When he hit this home run, it was a 2-2 tie, so he gives the Mariners and Felix the lead with that home run, and Felix took care of everything from there. And then how about this base hit back up the middle? Solid line drive to drive in another run.
Outstanding performance by Raul. New pitcher for the Mariners, their third tonight, Uravis Medina.
31 appearances for Medina. Opponents average just 202 against him. 32 strikeouts in the 30 2/3 innings he has pitched. Only 23 hits.
Medina's assignment: throw strikes, get 3 outs. Brock Holt leads off, walks, single to right. Robbed by Miller on a terrific play. Ground ball goes down to Franklin. 1 out.
Back to the top of the lineup for the Red Sox. Daniel Nava will step in. Nava is 1 for 4 tonight, scored a run. Also has an RBI.
A lot of good productivity tonight from the Mariners. How about this guy right here, Justin Smoke? 3 hits tonight, driven in 2. Kyle Seager steady as always. He's scored twice. As Daniel Nava looks at a strike. Raul Ibanez, we highlighted him, his 22nd home run. He's driven in 2, gives him 51 on the season. Michael Saunders leads everybody with 3 runs knocked in this evening. Saunders about to play this on the hop. Off the bat of Daniel Nava, his first hit tonight. Are you the ultimate Northwest Mariners fan in the state of Alaska? Then Root Sports is looking for you throughout the month of July. Get a photo on Instagram or Twitter with hashtag UltimateNWFanAlaska showing it. Why should be you? You'll be entered to win a trip. VIP experience of Mariners Fan Appreciation Night in September at Safeco Field. For official rules, go to rootsports.com. 1 out, 1 on for Johnny Gomes. Johnny, the right fielder. Nick Franklin picked up an RBI double in the 7th. Mike Zunino, he's got an RBI, 2-hit night. Mariners have banged out 15 hits tonight. It's their highest scoring productivity here at home this season. Brad Miller, he's got 2 hits and a run scored and a few sparkling defensive plays as well. One and 2 here to Johnny Gomes. Johnny, base hit back in the 1st. Swing and a miss. He's gone. 2 outs. John Bluebesher, cameraman, did a good job staying away. Staying away from that foul ball, John. You stayed alive down. I caught you. I would have tipped the cap to you. I saw you were alive down there. Morales with a good night. Couple of runs scored, 2 hits. Spread the wealth. Sprinkle the infield.
Nava will take second base. Indifference for him. Brandon Snyder getting his first at bat of the night. Just 22 plate appearances for him on the year.
Came in as a pinch runner for Pedroia in the 8th. Dino 1-1.
There you go.
Strike away from putting this one in the books. People tweeting about their experiences. That pitch slipped out of his hands. Breaking ball, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. It's the Snyder. Hit him in the back.
A couple of off-speed pitches. You mentioned slipping out of his hand. That pitch just 83 miles an hour. Take a look at this last pitch. And he tried to throw a breaking ball and just didn't have anything on it. Slipped right out of his hand.
There's Lavarnway, fly to the left, as pinch hitter back in the 8th. Pinch hitting spot vacated by David Ortiz. Ortiz had a good night, 2 for 2 with a walk. Bouncing ball down to Seager. This one does go short way to Franklin. That's your ball game. Mariners take the first game of this 4-game set against the #1 scoring team in the Major League Baseball, the Boston Red Sox, in resounding fashion, 11-4. Good stuff.
Great run support for Felix as he gets his 9th win of the season. The Mariners coming off a really good road trip where they go 4-2 and a nice start to the homestand, winning this first one against the Red Sox.
And for Felix, it ends a run of 3 consecutive starts in which he got no decision. Really good work. And offensively tonight, the Mariners were just on top of their game against a good pitcher in John Lester. Mariners have won 5 of their last 7 games and now are at 9 games under 500. That's win number 40. Really good work tonight. Take a look at our Sterling Bank. Nobody works harder for you. And Justin Smoke, an outstanding night. Batting right-handed against Lester. This is a double. Scored a run back in the 4th. Went on to get an infield hit. And then in the 7th, there's that infield hit right here. That's in the 6th. Nice play by Pedroia. Mariners might have got a break there. And then in the 7th inning, this is a double. RBI double. And that base hit right here made him 10 for his last 22. Finished up with a final plate appearance in which he walked. So Justin Smoke really starting to come around here. We've been talking about him and wondering when it would happen, and we might be bearing fruit right now. And right now, the aforementioned Mr. Smoke standing by with Jen Mueller.
All right, Justin, before the game, we were talking about how important it is with Lester on the mound to not miss your pitch. After your first at-bat, what played in there to the second at-bat in the RBI double?
Oh, he was throwing a bunch of cutters at us all night, and I finally got one out in front, and was able to keep it fair, and it was big, put us on the board, and whenever we get on the board for Fifi, good things are going to happen for us.
That first RBI double from the right side of the plate, we were also talking about how much better it's feeling from that side. What have you done? What kind of work from the right side? Just more being ready to hit. I feel like I was trying to feel forward a lot because wasn't getting that many at-bats right-handed, and just trying to feel forward out there instead of just going out there ready to hit, and that's been the key for me. How much did Lester change after that 4th inning when you guys drove his pitch count up? Oh, yeah. It helps big. The guy's great. He's a great pitcher, and
if we can get his pitch count up, he's liable to leave more pitches out over the plate, and, we're able to capitalize on it tonight.
And one more real quick, what impresses you most about Raul Ibanez?
He's unbelievable. The guy is just watching him every day, what he does, he's a pleasure to be around, pleasure to watch, and, I think a lot of these guys, counting myself, are learning a lot from him.
I would agree. Go inside, enjoy this one, Justin. As he points out, first post-game interview of the year with us. How is that even possible, guys? It seems like too good to be true, but I have a feeling many more in his future.
That would be good, Jen. Yeah, I feel like we dropped the ball on that one. I apologize to Mr. Smoke, the family watching back in Goose Creek.